Welcome to the Coming Home podcast. I'm Tom Haberstroh. That's Trey Edwards. We're joined and produced by Anthony Mays. We've got lots to talk to. We're going to get into later in the program the LeBron video when he's sitting down with Jeannie Buss and Linda Rambis. Have to break that down for the Patreon. I think we're going to do that. And also the Kobe statue. Trey, did you see this, Trey? The Kobe statue is Typos.
Rush job, man. You got a deadline. You got a deadline.
Jose Calderon, who knows? Von Wafer, doesn't matter. We got to get this statue up. Mm-hmm. Doing a whole box score, by the way, on a statue.
It's intense.
Aggressive. We're going to talk about that. Intense. Yeah, we're going to talk about that for the Patreon. We're going to talk about this new claim by Rick Pitino that he was instrumental with David Stern in turning around scoring in the NBA. There's like this Illuminati meeting among NBA coaches and changed the trajectory of the NBA forever. But first, we're going to talk about Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, baby. He's back.
The fine's too high. The fine's too high.
So, Trey, I wrote about this on The Finder, tomthefinder.com. Go subscribe, check it out. When that dropped on, was it Friday night when that game happened?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I immediately wrote, they're going to fine him like $100,000.
Yeah, you called this one, Tom.
That's a good prediction.
I said neighborhood. Okay. Neighborhood of $100,000. Because typically these fines, Trey, are like $20K, $25K, $30K.
We don't ever see anything over 50.
Yeah, it was a big jump. And so the Stifle Tower couldn't stifle this one.
Yeah.
No, my man Rudy.
I don't care how much money you make. You never can stomach the amount of losing $100K, especially over a gesture.
Here is that gesture. Let's take a look.
Wow. What a
This
swing.
is on ESPN.
All right, so Rudy Gobert makes the money sign at the official.
You'll notice the score. It's 97-96 Minnesota. There's 28 seconds left. They sent Darius Garland to the free throw line for the game-tying free throw. They went to overtime. They lost the game in overtime. Rudy, come on, my man. Come on. And then in the media after the game, he told John Krasinski, my reaction, which I think is truth. That's what I truly believe. Even if it's the truth, it wasn't the time for me to react that way. I should not have done that. I cost my team the game. That was an immature reaction.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good Rudy impersonation.
After saying that it was the truth 3 times, baby, it was the truth. I was right.
Yeah.
But I love this, especially in the wake of the earlier Aaron Edwards quote from earlier this season. Immature as fuck tonight. The Minnesota Timberwolves have an immaturity problem, and this is with Karl Towns out with a meniscus. Still immature.
And that's what's going to hold him back.
He fouled out of the game. Jared Allen had a great overtime. Cavs win. Come on. You can't be doing that. Can't be doing that, Rudy.
Notice how he never apologized for accusing Scott Foster and the referee crew of fixing the game because of the widespread and the escalation of gambling in America and the NBA. Notice he did not back off that. He said, my bad on the timing of it. Bad timing to do the money sign at the end of the game, down 1 when he fouls out. Immature by me. The whole $sign thing was not immature. It was the timing of it. He doubled down, guys. He did a parlay. He said, you know what? It's not enough to do it. I need to double down afterwards and get an extra juice on that.
It was a 3-leg parlay of a tech.
So that's why, Trey, that is why he got hit with $100K, is because he has done this repeatedly. This is the 4th time that he has gone after refereeing. He's done it before in Utah where he said, we're a small market team. I get it. We're a small market team. We go against these other teams. It's just, what was it, Maze? It's just so obvious.
It's bullshit. It's bullshit. That's the Rudy Gobert belief. My favorite part of this is that we've had a lot of French players in the NBA before, but nobody is quite as French as Rudy, because he takes the selfishness and the self-absorption and he blows that out to a nationalistic level, where we had a quote from him last week or the week before about how everybody playing against Wemby, now he gets to see what it's like for them to go against him.
Yeah.
You know,
very LeBron-esque.
It's only really about like everybody going against Rudy. They've been experiencing it this whole time. Going against Wemby, it's just the same. It's more of the same because he's just like Rudy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
he was the intro to Wemby.
He's in Utah, a Utah team that made almost no playoff impact. That's the team that the NBA is holding back with these foul calls. It's rigged against the Jazz and Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I should note. I was
going to say, Utah Jazz fans' history. You're talking about the no calls, man. The revisionists talking about, Ron Harper scoring, Brian Russell, a couple points out. Utah got some conspiracy theorists out there, man. And gambling just helps ignite the conspiracy NBA theorists. You know what I mean? Like, to a T. It fuels them. Gambling just helps. Like, this game was fixed. Everything's fixed. So why are you still watching?
Why are you still playing? Why are you still playing for $41 million?
Yeah.
So that's the thing is, Trey, the players benefit from all the money coming in from gambling. Mm-hmm. The BRI, all the sponsorships, the FanDuel, DraftKings, Fanatics, all those sponsorships at the top, at the league, gets included on the BRI. Mm-hmm. So the players are benefiting from this. LeBron James is now a fantasy, an ambassador, brand ambassador for DraftKings, right? Mm-hmm. You have a lot of money coming in from the gambling aspect. And so if Rudy Gobert wants to say the game is fixed because of the rise of gambling, he should probably take that up with Andre Iguodala and the players union.
Yep.
Because if you truly believe this, then it's a gigantic criminal federal problem, is that billions of dollars are resting upon this fixed outcome, right? Mm-hmm. But the problem is, I don't think he has any evidence other than he doesn't like the calls that the guy makes. It's not like he has any sort of receipts or any sort of, hey, I heard this from someone.
Tom, as long as he doesn't have an NBA championship, he's got the only receipt he needs, baby. Because he's the greatest in the world.
Holding him back, man.
It's not his fault.
Utah would have been hoisting one.
Yeah. Yeah. And now it's Minnesota, so it crosses zip codes. Yeah.
Yes.
The anti-Rudy.
Well, follows him. Yeah, exactly.
He has that he has that gravity.
It's a heliocentric NBA universe, and the whole planetary system orbits around Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, and remember, there's not this like transformative alien from France, right?
No. No, that's just another Rudy.
It's another Rudy. They don't want Victor Wembanyama to succeed. They don't want him. And by the way, this whole news story that just dropped today, that the NBA is looking to expand in Europe, an NBA Europe League, because they have all these stars from Europe.
Yeah, Rudy.
Not evidence of a conspiracy
of keeping
against Rudy Gobert, right?
I know Gilbert Arenas passed out when he read that. I know he passed out when he read that. He could not believe it.
Yeah. They're going to create an NBA Europe. I think when you see Rudy going off, Zach Harper said it best, or at least he retweeted someone who was like, Rudy's the worst messenger for this.
Or is he the best? I have to disagree, man. I love that he's taken it upon himself to be the truth teller here, to be the only one who has the gall and the fortitude to speak the truth on these issues. Who else is going to do it? Who else is going to give up games?
Right.
To let everybody know that there's money involved in all these transactions. And we got to show the clip that you brought up, Tom, where we got Pablo Prigioni going over to Scott Foster,
assistant coach.
Hey, man, what happened? Why do you call that tech? And Foster says he did the money, and Pablo, oh my God, bruh. That's the John Wall right there, bruh.
No, but go back and look. This is where Jade would come in. You don't even have to hit play. Look at Rudy's face.
Yep. Oh shit.
Yeah, you disappointed him. We're gonna have a conversation tonight over some wine. We'll definitely have a conversation about this one.
Pablo, you also gotta have my back.
Hey, Pablo, come on, man. Come on. You know it's fixed, Pablo. Come on.
Not this shit again, Rudy. Not this shit again.
The coach basically said that after the game. The assistant coach who was filling in for Finch, Chris Finch was out. He was like, I mean, that's Rudy. That's just Rudy. You know, he's going to go pop off and claim that the whole thing is rigged in the closing seconds of it. That's just Rudy. But hey, Maze, I don't know if you saw this, but Anthony Edwards said it last night after the Lakers loss. Said it's hard to win when the entire other team has as many free throws, or one player on the opposing team has as many free throws as our entire team. Hard to win that way.
Whoa.
Hard to win when Anthony Davis has 13 free throws and we got 13 as a team. Hard to win.
There's two things at play there. One, Rudy's influence is spreading.
It is.
Obviously.
It's clearly an influencer.
But Ann Edwards listens to Basketball Illuminati because he knows that the Lakers have been getting the whistle at an astronomical rate since, I believe, last All-Star break. Because we talked about it in the second half last year. The Austin Reeves emergence was almost entirely because he was drawing.
They want Austin Reeves. They don't want Rudy. You know, Austin Reeves is a good homegrown American boy.
Yeah.
From where's he from? Arkansas?
Yeah.
Yeah. They don't want no Frenchman.
I mean, I must admit that I did hear that Anthony Edwards quote, and I looked at the box score, and it was only like 23 free throws to 12. So I don't know if that's necessarily the one where you want to take the stand, but there have been some Laker games where they have mid-30s free throws and the other team has around 10. So,
are you suggesting there's a crack in Rudy Gobert's argument? I thought you were all in on this theory.
I'm just saying, I was saying for Aaron Edwards, like the way he was talking, I was hoping to see a bigger disparity because I'm with him. The Lakers get a nice whistle, you know? It's maybe because there's this guy named LeBron James who actually is what Rudy thinks he is.
We need to do just a full breakdown of those free throw times because it's still going on. The Lakers free throw and the whistle and all that stuff. But Rudy, man, if this is the way they're going to go out, you know, Karl Anthony Towns gets hurt, then Naz Reid steps in, then they basically they all sit yesterday's game except for Ant, right? And Rudy sits out with an injury. It keeps the narrative alive. It keeps the theory alive.
His pride.
Yeah.
DNP pride.
So Trey, do you feel like the 100,000 was overdone? Little too much there.
Too high.
It
should be capped. It shouldn't go more. Just make them keep paying the same thing. Like, cool. You want to get free money? Great. Me raising it, not going to be like, oh shit, I need to stop. Oh,
I mean, money does talk, right? Like money does talk.
Unless they fine for $1 million. 100. You don't want to give away 100K, but Rudy got whatever, how much he making this season alone, which I assume was 41 million or something. I don't know with his max. He'll be all right. He think that's worth it just because of the principle. He's a principle guy.
Yeah, Tom, you did the math here. You want to break it down?
So the math is, if the NBA fined him $30K, that would be the equivalent of someone making $100,000 get hit with a $73 fine. So
a parking ticket.
Even less than, I mean, parking inflation these days. Come on, Miz.
That's true. I mean, I live in San Francisco. I've seen $110 parking tickets. It happens.
So that would be $73 equivalent. Okay. $100,000 is about, do the math. That's about $240 of a fine. I'm sorry. It's going to keep happening. Rudy Gobert laughs at $100K. That's
what I'm saying. It doesn't even, and then that's when the players union is going to come in and say, what's up? We already had these set precedents of what you can fine a person. Once you start going up, we got a problem. We got a problem for real. So again, he's not about to stop doing what he's doing, but sooner or later the union going to step in and say, hey, you can't keep raising this up.
But Andre Iguodala is a believer in Rudy. Andre Iguodala has gone on, I think it was Gilbert Arenas' podcast when he was on with Evan Turner, and was saying, oh, yeah, the game's rigged. He went on, he was explaining his ejection last year, and he was like, yeah, I mean, I told a ref, I've seen the Netflix. I watch Netflix. The inference there is the Tim Donaghy Netflix documentary. And as soon as he said, I watch Netflix, the referee tossed him. Andre Iguodala is running the players union now.
Yeah.
The head of the players union thinks that the NBA is rigged on some level. And he's told stories, Andre Iguodala, about how, certain playoff games, going into the playoffs in the game 7 or game 6, he alleged that Elton Brand went up to him before a game. He's like, they want Boston to win this game. Just know that. Just know the league wants Boston to win this game. So I don't know. It's crazy. I think everyone's making so much
take. That's a crazy take, though.
And he said it.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's funny for him, of all people, to say it and just be like, all right, you know what I mean? Like, that's why it makes conspiracy theories so fun, because there's some people that have some truth to certain things, or in certain positions, and like, why would they say it? And then there's other ones like, yo, are you fucking dumb? So it just depends, you know what I mean? But there's some truth to some of this stuff. It's just, when it does, it's going to cook the entire product. So the thing is we rather not know, because sports adds joy. Sports creates memories. Sports do all these things. And to find out, it's like, again, an artist that has been canceled, that you love listening to. You might still sneak and listen to that person, even though it's not great. Or you can be like, I'm done with this. Like the infamous viral quote, we done with the 80s. We can say, we done with the NBA, because the gambling, the dirt, the no calls, the multiple free throws, the tricky plays, the things that may have rewritten history if it happened. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many divots, but we can't be revisited. The thing about the internet now is that you have nothing but time and the footage to review, but it will never change anything, and it won't never taint anything. It's not going to, nobody's going to Reggie Bush this shit. And that's unfortunate to use as an example, but what's done is done. We could say 1950s NBA was trash. Take all the Boston Celtics that played in that one on that super team and just say you can't be a Hall of Famer no more. It don't work like that. It is what it is. It's already done. It's set in stone. Not an error like the Kobe statue, but it's set in stone.
You know what's crazy is Scott Foster didn't even see the hand gesture.
Yeah.
But how did he show it to Pablo if he didn't see it?
So
discussed it.
Natalie Sago, the other referee, saw it, and she teed him up. And he was like, what happened? And they're like meeting up at half court, and she explains it to him. And then he's like, oh, yeah, okay. And then Pablo Prigioni comes over and says, what'd he do? So he didn't even go. He went kind of passive aggressive. He didn't really go at Scott Foster and do the thing. He just kind of did it off as Scott Foster was making the call. But Scott Foster, I feel like how many players in the NBA are lesser known than Scott Foster.
Lesser known?
Yeah, like if you went to an average NBA fan and you had a list of every NBA player.
Probably like
and you
15%.
Do you think he's more? There's I would say there's 200 players in the NBA that are lesser known than Scott Foster.
Sure. I mean, it's only a certain amount of people.
If you're going
that get certain amount of refs that get ref fame.
Yeah, well, he's the most famous ref, right?
For sure, for sure.
So if you're going to an average, if you're going to an average NBA fan who only watches the playoffs, let's say, like keeps a finger.
Do you know who
on
Chris
the pulse.
Middleton is?
They know who Chris Middleton is, but
do you know who Scott Foster? Yes, I do. Yes,
they'll definitely know that Scott Foster has a 99% winning percentage against Chris Paul.
Yeah.
That's on people's radar. So that alone,
because that's a headline. Headlines, are like logged memories. Like if you can make a headline, like if your goal as a like if I was a management, right, a manager of an NBA player, I'd be like, yo, you got to make 3 headlines this year.
And the best part is that the headline doesn't match the article.
Yeah, it don't have to be anything like that. We can just tip off an editor and say, look, go crazy with this one. Who's crazy with this one.
Who's the best? Who's mastered the headline game?
What's the name? Rob Little from Black Sports Online.
I feel like Pat Bev.
Black Sports Online. Rob Little. Him and Bossip have like the elite headlines where they were like, it's a joke in the headline. You know what I mean? There's a. It's so ridiculous that I have to check it out. Headline. That's how he goes. Sports headlines aren't as ridiculous. It's like, maybe I didn't say that, or you left out a part, but like not to like, such and such baby mama, blah, 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 blah. Like Rob Little, like that shit is so crazy. Look, I'm going to read one.
In terms of players, though, while you pull that up, I think in the worst way possible, it's Ben Simmons, right? There's at least 3 Ben Simmons headlines a year.
Easy
They're not
call.
good.
Yeah. Not good. Yeah.
Ben Simmons wore a bright pink and orange outfit while all of his teammates wore black. Ben Simmons is back. Ben Simmons is done for the season. There's your 3.
Ben Simmons is back, like apostrophe.
Ben Simmons back is back.
His back is back.
And then his back is back in a bad way.
Yeah, shit's crazy.
It's a back-to-back season that his back is back, right?
Back-to-back podcast with Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
The old school count the dings branding is back to back.
It's back. You want to know what else is back, Maze? Trey?
What?
90s basketball.
90s basketball?
Tell me more.
Michael Jordan's back, and he's winning championships. Trey, breaking news. He's going to sign with the Bulls, and it's over.
Welcome back,
He's
Mike.
already won. The 90s scoring, the wrestling matches, the pitcher's duel of the NBA, it's back, baby. Did you see the Knicks score? Did you see the Knicks score yesterday?
Oh my God, that was some real 90s hoop for sure.
I thought it was a typo.
Literally, the Knicks and Sixers played a game earlier this year in which the Knicks scored more points at halftime than they did in the entire game yesterday. The Knicks scored 78 points or something like that at halftime against the Sixers 2 months ago. And now it is just junkyard basketball. We're back to 90s basketball. 79-73 was the final score. Below 80 points. No team broke 80 points. And we've had multiple games this year where both teams break 80 points by halftime.
The Celtics were beating the Warriors by almost as many points as the Knicks scored at halftime last week.
So did Adam Silver put in the call is the question that is on everyone's mind. According to Ethan Strauss, on his Substack, houseofstrauss.com. General managers and coaches are convinced that the rules were changed mid-season to bring back defense. Using a lot of the data that I rose to the surface like a week ago, Trey, Ethan was writing that people around the league are convinced that the referees are rigging it, so to speak, or influencing the game, Rudy Gobert style, to keep scoring down because it got out of control, and that we needed to kind of do a little market correction here. And I gave him some numbers to show that free throw attempts are down about 12% month over month, and that you're not seeing these high scoring totals as much, and that scoring is down like 4 to 5% or something like that. But free throws in particular are way down. So in that, let's see, in that Knicks 76ers game, 14 free throws for the 76ers and 16 free throws for the Knicks. That's it.
I disagree. I think there's no Embiid and there's no Julius Randle. Or did Jalen Brunson play that game? He did.
He was very bad. I think he said he played like dog shit.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, but we get games like Thunder Grizzlies 124-93. We get Pelicans 116-103. We get the Brooklyn Nets scored 120 on the Cavs 101. Like, yeah. You know, you get games like the Bucks putting up 124 on the Clippers 117. I'm not buying into that, but I do think that like there is an issue in certain things. But then you also see the games where there's double teams and different schemes where people are starting to take away the main scores. And maybe you get that down. Like I said, if Jalen Brunson doesn't have this game and we got Dante DiVincenzo chucking shots as a second option, I'm probably going to get that many shots or points up there. You know what I mean? And the Sixers, a lot of campaign shots, a lot of Tyrese Maxey shots, no Embiid who carries over 30 points for sure.
Well, yeah, Tyrese was out
too.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Maxey's out. It was a JV squad.
Campaign and Tobias Harris.
Because I didn't watch the
OG
game.
was out. Julius Randle's out. OG's out. It was a skeleton crew for both of the teams. The idea
that Kelly Oubre had a double-double of 18-10 should have just been a testament to that box score of what it was. Like I said, I didn't watch this game. Him and Tobias Harris played a very scrappy. That's like when you're in your state championship quarterfinals. You're trying to make it.
You're tired.
Some of your star player rolled his ankle. Mm-hmm. The coach gives this heartfelt ass fucking speech in the locker room. And then all of a sudden it's like, guys, leave it all on the floor. You get to do this one last time with your guys. Y'all look left and right. And they're like, yeah. And that's Tobias Harris and fucking Kelly Oubre gutting it out for the guys to get us one more game. That's it.
Shouts to Nick Batum playing 31 minutes and not scoring.
Just plus 18 though, Tom.
Just cardio. 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals.
You know what? This is all part of where's Nick Batum
the French
from?
Connection? Is that what you're telling me right now?
The French Connection. Again? They didn't want Nick Batum to score in this game. He tried. 31 minutes, shot twice. Wonder if he got fouled on those. Wonder where Scott Foster was on those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in the bag. It's in the bag against Batum. Speaking
of the bag, Rick Pitino was on Pardon My Take and was going through a couple stories about his time in the NBA as the Celtics coach. And he had a little story time about when the NBA was in a little bit of a crisis trying to get scoring up. How did they do it?
I was at a meeting with David Stern, Hubie Brown, Larry Brown, Pat Riley, Chuck Daly, and one other person to how to get scoring back in the game. David Stern called the meeting. And we really said there's only one way, not 8 seconds in the backcourt. You got to call fouls.
Yeah.
Get them to the foul line. It's dead time. Defense won't be as knocking down Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
It's changed.
Yeah.
That's what we did. And the game changed. And now it's too much.
Yeah.
80 points and a half by the Celtics, too much.
I love the way he said Hubie Brown. My man said Hubie Brown, right? Shouts to Rick. That guy's amazing. Got a chance to see him earlier on in the season against Marquette. He had an all-white suit on. Just he's Ace Rothstein, bro.
Mm-hmm.
He is must see. Like you're not even. I hate that. He's like Deion, bro. You want to go see him, not the players. You want to see the spectacle of what's Rick Pitino gonna show up. Got all the makeup on time. Makeup crazy.
Camera ready.
Crazy makeup, bro. Like,
does he have the Garland hair dye coming down, sweating down from his face?
Nah, it wasn't coming down his face, but you could just tell so much. Like, he don't have to do this. Yeah, like you're evident, like evidence you like cook, bro. You're a pawpaw for sure, but like a legend, rightfully so. Never change, Rick. Like,
yeah. I want to know though, Trey, who was that other coach in that room? Did you notice that in there?
One other person, man. Yeah. I mean,
I'm specific with the names. Hubie Brown, Larry Brown, Chuck Daly, Pat Riley, and one other person was there. Who was that other person?
Jackson. Gotta probably be Phil Jackson. And Phil Jackson probably rolling his eyes.
Why did he just say Phil Jackson?
He might be fucking reading his book. No, because at the end of the day, I think it's in a scenario of like, it's a slight. He knows who it is.
Yeah.
It's a slight. Okay. It's like,
these
are the coaches I respect.
He's trying to cut Phil down by not giving him the satisfaction of being named with those coaches, is what you're saying?
Yeah, because like, again, you think about, these are OGs, 1,000-win club guys, etc. And it's like, well, maybe everybody didn't get a Michael Jordan or a Kobe Bryant. And like, you know, like it's a slight. It's like, you gotta coach the games, but like, it has to be somebody in that caliber. He knows who. He's not missing anyone because those are too specific. You just don't throw out.
He's fighting back against Big Jordan. Yeah, I see what he's doing. Yeah,
it's like you're not going to just say, "Oh, because of Jordan." Like an example, like, "Oh," you know what I mean? Because it's like everybody feel like they probably could have been Phil Jackson if they had Jordan, Pippen, and Robin, or Kobe, Shaq, and company. You know what I'm saying? Where you're like, damn, I'm pretty sure it's like a shot to whoever has succeeded in these things. He said Pat Riley, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Think about the elite of the elite. Chuck Daly coached the Olympics. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to say Bill Fitch. He's not going to say Scott
Shouts to Bill Fitch, by the way.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? He's not.
I love you, Bill.
Carlissimo, Mike D'Antoni. He's not saying these people, bro. He's talking about like people that have won.
I'm trying to figure out how Rick Pitino got in that room.
Well, he was the coach of the Celtics.
He was the coach of the Celtics.
I know, but like we're talking about legit NBA legends and Rick Pitino who flamed out.
But Rick Pitino is a college legend.
Yeah.
In a scenario of like being the hot stuff for the Celtics at the particular time.
You forget the Bombinos. Pitino's Bombinos was a huge thing for the Knicks when he was the coach of the Knicks. He's a New York guy. I'm not surprised David Stern's calling on Rick Pitino.
Yeah. He counts, bro. He's a big business.
You know?
Those ship has sailed, but if he had an opportunity to coach an NBA team, he would. And that budget would be insane. Pat Riley, hold my beer.
Maybe. Those text messages that were hitting up Big Cat, maybe that's David Stern from the afterlife.
Mm-hmm.
Like, back off of my guy Rick Pitino. Maybe. I don't know. I'm just saying that Rick Pitino is saying he was part of the inner Illuminati of making sure the NBA was watchable and that get scoring up. And it was as simple as, let's just call more fouls.
That's it.
David Stern's like, yep. Done. Meeting adjourned.
Yeah, we figured that one out.
Yeah. All right, thanks, guys. Glad we held this Zoom call. Thank you.
We know how to stop Rudy Gobert in 30 years. Write that
there
down.
We go.
Lay down the track.
This is how we stop it. Oh, brother. Fucking Rick Pitino, man. I love it, though. This is going to be passed around in the Facebook group soon. And people are going to be discussing and saying, oh, can I share this? This is not on the rundown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
I'm not going to say who shared this story with me, but they sent it to me via Instagram DM.
Is it Phil Jackson?
It was not Phil Jackson. It was a former NBA player, but it's a story about how, did you guys see about how Dominique Wilkins and Deion Sanders got ran out of Atlanta?
No,
please.
Please. This is a maze dig right here. So I guess this guy, he was like a kingpin in Atlanta, white guy. and he opened up this club called Club 21.
Okay.
And Club 21, clearly both Deion and Dominique.
I was going to say, good number.
Or 21, but they're in the prime of their career, right? And they're all Atlanta everything. And Dominique wasn't making that much money at that particular time. I don't know if Deion was making that much money yet. And in this particular situation, they agree to be partners in this club, not knowing the dude's association to like scandals and all this kind of stuff.
Bad dude. Okay.
Bad dude. He ends up getting arrested and they don't come to testify. That same year, Dominique's traded off. Deion leaves for free agency, never to touch Atlanta again. What's the irony of that? And I was just like, I know people got all the time in the world. I've never heard this story. I didn't even think of Deion Sanders and Dominique Wilkins also owning anything such as a club like, but Deion Sanders did party. But it was interesting that this guy, a very bad guy at the particular time, was arrested. I really want to send this to you, Mace, because
I got it right here. So Fred Tokers, Tokars. He is a lawyer who opened the club with them, and he did racketeering, cocaine deals, and he had his wife murdered. And he got arrested. They were due to testify. Trial started in February 94. Deion left Atlanta in free agency in early 94. Dominique was traded in early 94. My father claimed they were kind of forced to be traded, because Tokers had left a dirty taste in everybody's mouth and made everybody question whether Neek and Deion were involved. So the teams let the two players leave, so nobody would question if the teams were keeping sketchy players around. This is a very Illuminati-esque story from the archives here. So the idea that they let them out to keep it quiet.
Interesting. It's bullshit.
Is bullshit indeed, but that's the type of shit you can get into before Twitter, man. That would have been
so a former NBA player hits you up and says, "Trey, did you hear this shit before?" So it's circulating, this idea that a club owner could run you out of the town and just bury it. Two legends.
Well, not that he's a club owner. I mean, this dude did put a hit on his wife. So, I mean, I mean, and he was successful. So I have to have some type of fear, because are you going to testify against me? Get you whacked, bruh. This is interesting. I'm giving more credit to the mob guy, whatever he is, the lawyer, dirty lawyer. You know what I mean? Because he had enough power to sway a lot of things in that situation. If he's getting Deion and Dominique to sign on, and then also down, got his wife whacked. Like
next on Illuminati.
You know?
Yeah.
I had to share that though. That came to my mind.
Yeah. I mean, if you're an Atlanta sports fan, I could imagine this building into the idea that you're cursed, right? Other than the Braves in the 90s, there's not a lot of Atlanta sports success. And if two of the biggest stars in your history were run out of town because of their connections to a potential dirty lawyer, that's not going to help.
Speaking of dirty, I'm trying to figure out the segue here. There was a story circulating about, I mean, there's nothing dirty about this. I tried and I'm trying to make the segue, and it's a giant
just wash your hands of that reference.
Wash your hands of that dirty story, and let's get into a different one. Okay. Let's eat. All right. Let's make sure before we sit down and eat another story, let's make sure we wash our hands of that dirt, because Richard Jefferson is claiming that the birth of NBA Twitter can be traced to the 2009 Milwaukee Bucks, a team of which our own NBA Twitter correspondent and expert Trey Edwards was a part of. Through Brandon Jennings in 2009, he was saying that Charlie Villanueva is actually the father of NBA Twitter.
I was actually there for the launch of sports Twitter. You guys might not remember this, but Charlie Villanueva, we're playing in Milwaukee, playing against the Lakers. He has a game. We're at first half. He comes in. This mother tweets. Now, no one knows what Twitter is. He tweets at halftime.
Charlie Villanueva took a brief moment to update his Twitter account, saying, "Coach says we've got to have more toughness. I've got to step up."
There's no rules to social media at this point in time. So he goes out, balls in the second half. Everybody's picking up this tweet, and everyone's minds are exploding that athletes can now tweet in the middle of the game.
Bucks subsequently banned any online activity during games.
You can't tweet for 30 minutes before the game, for like 45 minutes after the game, and that was all because of Charlie Villanueva and him posting that on Twitter. He launched sports Twitter.
So, Trey, first of all, do you remember that incident, that game with Charlie Villanueva?
I do. I wasn't at that game, but I remember
the whole story. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that was it was an interesting thing because I want to say prior to I wasn't even around. I don't think RJ was on that team. I think RJ's year was 08, 09, I want to say, before Brandon even got drafted in that scenario, right? But
I just found the tweet. It's so good.
All lowercase.
So good.
And he was doing that. He wasn't the only one. Go ahead.
The tweet is, in the locker room, DA, in the locker room, snuck to post my twit. We're playing the Celtics tie ball game at the half. Coach wants more toughness. I got to step up.
And he did.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that he called it a twit. He called it a twit. That's how you know. That's how you can carbon date that statement right there.
The Associated Press story says it might be the next big thing in online social networking, but Milwaukee Bucks coach Scott Skiles isn't a big fan of Twitter. He posted a message to his Twitter feed, quote unquote tweet, from his mobile phone during halftime of Sunday's home victory over the Boston Celtics, and then rode off in his horse and chariot.
Yep.
That last part I made up, but it feels like this is from
he lit a gas lantern fueled by whale blubber and sent a raven out from the locker room.
Yes. Yeah, this they hopped on a wagon out of the way out and embarked on their 47-day trek to go play the Golden State Warriors. It's tough life out there.
But Trey, you were saying that this did not launch sports Twitter.
Absolutely not.
This is not the moment in time that.
No, so NBA Twitter obviously was more so launched in 2021, but the unofficial was, first of all, people weren't even tweeting that way. They were tweeting like statuses. It's like Facebook statuses and stuff like going to the store.
Yeah.
In Milwaukee, what to do here. You know what I mean? And people were still trying to figure out how to even respond to people. Right? Then when you started to get the response, you're following people are following you back because it's not a thing. There's no social currency in having a specific number. Like having 2,000 followers was a big deal back then. Your reach wasn't even expanded to now 256,000, 13 million. Like these numbers did not even exist. You weren't even paying attention to that. You were just like happy that somebody was talking to you from another place that you had access to. You know what I mean? And like they had got celebrities. I'm pretty sure it was one of the paid things because Snoop Dogg always talks about how he's the first person on Instagram, like early on. Like they were paid to go on these apps. They didn't think how big it was going to go, but you normally kind of get the beta and it's like, all right, I guess I'll use this. And now trying to see how to launch it. So Shaq was obviously the first person from NBA and actually was interacting with people to a point where it's like, oh shit, well, if Shaq's on here, now other people are starting to get on. And he was kind of, like it just takes one person to get on. And after that, it was like, damn, like I really could talk to this person. Is this because parody accounts didn't exist either? We had to make retweets. We had all this other shit. But to say Charlie Villanueva, no, Charlie Villanueva was the first. He's the person that you say died on the cross.
Yeah.
He's the first Twitter find. He's the first Twitter find. Like where people were like, because I remember people were like, damn, I kind of want to tweet, but I don't want to get fined. You get what I'm saying? Where agents were little. Like, I remember Bill Duffy was like, "Yo, don't tweet like between the game and after." Like you had, it was like a cool off period. You know how like the Richard Shermans blow up? Like give him time and then go interview him. That's how it was at NBA. Like, all right, as soon as you're done, you got to have this breathing room and then you can tweet. Like you damn near have to be in your car. What if you didn't play that game and you didn't have to shower? I still got to wait.
He needed to pop off that tweet about how the coach wanted him to step up.
Yeah.
I just love it. That's his breaking news. You know, it's the equivalent of like, hey, just had a sandwich. It was pretty solid. The early days of Twitter, man.
But first person sharing news, the direct source, that was what the Twitter experience was supposed to be like. Now the NBA comes in with restrictions because it's like, maybe you have a persuasion in a player. Gambling wasn't a part of that, but could you imagine that first one? Hey, Charlie, I need 5 from you. Motherfucker be like, all right.
Yeah, okay. I'll go get it.
He's not thinking about it like that.
I need to step up.
All right, bro. You tell me how many points? All right, bro. Or like, I ain't looked at the box score. Charlie, you got 35. You just need 3 more for your career high. It manipulates the game so much.
Yeah.
And not saying that these guys don't be on their phones now because they be texting, they be doing all kind of shit. But at the end of the day, they're not going to go to Twitter.
Yeah.
They look at Instagram. Like, it be literally come in. All right, guys. The coaches come in the huddle. Somebody open their phone. They don't got their shit on mute. It's a live motherfucking Instagram video playing while the coach trying to talk. And it's like, oh, shit, my bad. And then put it down.
That made me think when you said, like, he's the sacrificial lamb. When Antonio Brown went live from the Steelers locker room. And that was the first time anybody had really done that. And then, of course, we know what happened to Antonio Brown afterwards, but it was like one of those signs where it's like, even in
they got him up out of there.
Even in a Mike Tomlin, very well-run team, somebody stepped over and took it too far, and then that never happened again. We don't see that anymore.
Because there's actual consequences from it. You don't want to be like, is Twitter not that deep, and we got way too many outlets to express ourselves, right? Draymond got a podcast. He can go podcast literally after the game and be like, all right, yo, I'm ready, fired up. Now you got way more way. Like you don't have to get your point across right then and there. And everybody are more safer and comfortable to share what they got going. It was still private. It was still private.
It's a sacred space, the locker room.
It was such a sacred space. Like the mystique of an NBA player was still a thing. Like I said, the first time I was really around Ray Allen and them, I'm like, oh shit, this is Ray Allen. And Ray Allen's sharing. He's literally talking to me right now. He's telling me about how he ain't had a burger in 15 years. You know what I mean? But like, this is still prime news. Now it don't fucking matter because everybody's so open and to share. Now you know their interest as if there's your friend. This is his birthday. He loves to eat it. He loved pineapples. He loved mangoes. He liked this. You know what I mean? Like, he's a steak guy. Now you could damn near pitch to a person because you're like, oh, you know their interests. They're selling their stuff now. It's way different than what it was. But no, Charlie Villanueva was the first to get fined. Not the first to kick it off. There were other users. Like Shaq was literally using this shit like to get it going.
He was doing the money sign essentially.
There we go.
At that time. Yeah.
Hulu has live sports. Shit like that.
Speaking of taking things and putting it on the internet, saw a clip of Troy Weaver trying to eject a fan during a Detroit Pistons game. The GM, the president of basketball operations for the Pistons, was seated amongst the people, the fans, and apparently he got into it with another fan, or I guess the fan was harassing him and saying, like, you suck at your job. And someone pulled out their phone and videotaped the whole exchange. And Troy Weaver said, get up on out of here, and pointed to the guy and got him ejected. And the person who got ejected was probably talking shit to Troy Weaver, a long-suffering Pistons fan who was probably like, I'm going to go tell him how I feel. I paid good money to sit in this seat, and there's the decision maker who's behind the futility at this franchise. I'm going to let him hear it. And it crossed the line, and Troy Weaver said, get this guy out of here. My question is, how do we feel about fans getting ejected, or players or executives, coaches being able to point to a fan and saying, get him out of here. Because Kevin Durant didn't do it a couple weeks ago. Could have yanked that fan who called him a bitch. And there was that whole incident. And he was like, nah, I'm cool with it. So where do you feel courtside Trey? How do you feel about this?
There's something about, because there's a code of conduct.
Yeah.
On every seat. You're going to have a few drinks. You're going to pay your hard-earned money. You're not pleased with the product sometimes. Sometimes you just want to be a class clown. And I think in these certain situations, you're being a class clown. But you still have to respect. Like, again, this is not barbaric. This is not slavery. These people are playing. This is their job. Imagine me coming to your office and be like, yo, you need to work harder, bro. Like, there has to be a line of how to cheering one-on-one. How is the code of conduct in here? If you call me out my name, you don't know what type of day I had for me to react. I be dealing with all type of bad news, and you're like, oh, you're a bitch. What's that have to do with the game? What does that have to do with the game? I'm shooting bad, but that makes me a bitch because I'm shooting bad. I'm not playing my best. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like, when I address it, because I think that's a whole nother conversation from the 200 seat, or even if I spent good money and I walk up on you and I show you how actual massive I am and how big I am as a figure. And now it's like, oh man, I didn't think you were actually going to chill. Calm down, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's the throw the rock and hide my hand scenario. And the internet has amplified this times 100. And it's like, you can't do anything to me because you'll lose your job. But could you do that on the street? You probably sue me if I punched you. I mean, you know what I mean? If I punched you and shit like that. But again, I don't think it's fair. And I think fans abuse that shit so much, whether you like it or not. Because like, I should be able to, you don't want to come off as a snitch. You don't want to come off as a power trip. You don't want to like ruin the fun for everybody. But there's a code of conduct that has to be met. So when you go and spend your money, you are to abide by that. And you should be ejected. Straight up.
Yeah, you have to keep it. I mean, obviously, you can't.
I should be able to boo, and I should be able to clap and scream and yell. But once I start calling out your name, or I'm being disrespectful to the game, you gotta go. I'm not put. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta go. Shout out to KD for letting them stay, but like, he looked at it from a certain situation. Because again, I would have been like, "Hey, bro, why you kicked him out? You let them get to you like that?" Because it's a joke. It's like seeing LeBron. No, get them out. Russ kick people out all the time. And I ain't even mad. But again, the fans will be like, oh, you saw.
I think it just feeds it, man. I just think it feeds into it. Like if I know that I can get under Russell Westbrook's skin by saying something as a courtside fan, it's only going to make the situation worse. And the same thing with this Detroit fan is that if people now know that if you say something to the GM, you have your 15 minutes of fame. I just think it adds to it.
Oh, a GM and an owner not gonna care. That's a difference. Like Dolan got surveillance.
Yeah, he's got facial recognition.
That's a whole nother grind. So you're talking to a GM? You're out of here, buddy. Like, what are we doing? I don't care how. Yeah, I told that guy, but I got a lifetime ban.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
At what cost?
Yeah.
At what cost? Like, that's not the look. We see it all the time. Fans get away with it. Because the fans' consequence is maybe you just cost your team the loss because you just turned this player up. LeBron about to go for 35 on your ass because you was talking shit. That's the one consequence. The second is like, all right, he took it too far. And players are allowed to say, yo, you took it too far. You know what I mean? And that's when it's like, nah, get him up out of here. When you go to a GM, or they not trying to hear none of that shit.
Yeah.
Bro, you're still supporting my team. You got to go. You got to go. You got to go.
I mean, in this particular Troy Weaver situation, when your team is at the bottom of the league and
his livelihood is at stake,
you don't have to be in the crowd with the fans like that. You can just stay in your ivory luxury box up above the court.
It's a choice, right? Like at some point, if you're going to get in the midst of the people, I kind of feel like that's the risk you take.
Right.
Is if you're going to sit amongst the crowd, someone's going to recognize you. And you know what? You want fans to recognize you. You want fans to care enough about the team that they care about the decision maker behind all the moves. And so that's kind of part and parcel of being the head decision maker. The issue is that I have is like, we don't know. I don't know exactly what the fans said. I'm guessing it was some shit.
More uncouth than what was caught on video. Yeah.
Yeah, we got a little bit of the tail end of it. All we see is Troy Weaver being like, that guy, let's get him out of here.
But that's the thing, Tom. We don't have Robin Fickers anymore. We spent a long time talking to Robin Ficker, and he had a very strict regimen for how he heckled, what he wouldn't do, no profanity. He'd do research. He'd bring props. We're not that creative anymore. We're lazy. We curse people out. And
it's always public information. It's never personal stuff. It's just stuff that's always been reported by the papers. He never drink, and that's the key thing here. Never drinks. Robin Ficker.
Yeah.
The GOAT heckler.
Yeah.
Had 2 rules. Don't swear. Don't drink. Charles Barkley hired him to sit behind Michael Jordan in the 93 finals.
The greatest.
It's amazing. All right. Speaking of GOATs, Trey, we're going to talk about LeBron James and the tweet that went viral.
Oh my God.
We're going to break it all down on Patreon right after the break. This is the video here. Why don't we just, Maze, you got it? Okay.
Roll the tape. It's silent, but we've got LeBron.
We don't need the audio because we know.
Happy International Women's Day. The Pander Goat.
The Pander Goat. Okay, few things here. One, the lady on the right is Jeannie Buss, the owner of the Los Angeles Lakers. The lady on the left is Linda Rambis. That's right, Kurt Rambis' wife, who is also in the Lakers front office, longtime associate and friend, best pal of Jeannie Buss, and played by the Bears' girlfriend on The Bear.
Yep.
The actress Gordon. Molly, what was her last name?
Molly Gordon.
Molly Gordon. Played by Molly Gordon in Winning Time. So that's the context here. This isn't just 2 random women next to LeBron James courtside. This is his bosses, essentially. And he says a few things, and then Jeannie Buss puts her hands on his shoulder and just, oh, thank you, LeBron. And then Linda Rambis, oh, thank you so much, clutches her pearls and just says, oh, thank you so much. That is so sweet.
Clutches her pearls, clutches LeBron's bicep, clutches LeBron's ankle.
Woo!
A lot of touching.
Showed this to the Mrs. H here in the house. And Savannah can't be happy about this.
What did Miss H say? No way?
No way.
No way.
No way. Can you put your hands on my man like that?
No way.
And now keep in mind, my bicep
on national TV, by the way,
is like a U. It's like it's the opposite. It's
Tom.
It's
don't
It's my boss, by the way. It's my boss, by the way. It's my boss.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how do you think that? How do you think that really went down? Like, how do you think? Like, it's not. It's Jeannie Buss, Savannah. It's Jeannie Buss. That's my boss. I would never. Then who's the other lady? Linda Rambis. Okay, I don't give a fuck who they are, but they the front office, babe. We was talking about Bronny, and we was talking about my $60 million a year and my statue, and I was telling them Happy Women's Day, and she was just saying how sweet I was. Okay.
Watch.
Did you pull up
Here,
the other
let's
photo,
break it
Mace?
down.
Which other one?
Of him at SE game.
Well, I was going to say, before we get to that, watch his hands here. Look at LeBron's hands. Very, very smart move by LeBron. He's a very heady player. Cerebral. Puts his hands on his ankles and keeps it professional. Okay, he's not doing it. He's just saying, hey, happy International Women's Day. They're the ones putting their hands on him. He's not doing anything untoward. I just think that's a heady move by LeBron. You know what? I'm going to put my hands here.
I don't know where his hands going to go, though. At this point, Where could they go?
He could put his arm around that, like, oh, hey, come on in. He's not doing that.
I don't think he could do that because he. I don't think he even know that. I think in a scenario, he's playing it up. He's being charming, right?
Yes. Charming.
He already has an aura. He's LeBron James. There's nothing you could change about that. I could say whatever about that man. Nothing gonna change that. He's still LeBron. He gonna still have that gravity. But in this specific space, he doesn't feel small, but he feels big because the owner of the team he plays for is right there. So it's like, all right, she falling over me. She don't want me, but she falling over me. That means she adores me, right? And this is similar to how Magic Johnson was back in the day when he would go to her dad's house and had these motherfucking dinners and tell motherfuckers to get fired and do all this other shit. So in this particular situation, he know the power dynamic of what it is. This is in the black community, that's a bar. Because you're going to be like, oh, he got the owner sitting next to him. He got the front office. The first thing I seen when I first seen this, I said, he's negotiating $60 million a year in a statue, right? The next thing was, sure, Jeannie Buss is just like that because she's like Magic Johnson, like, oh, Magic Johnson's my brother, blah, blah, blah. Linda Rambis is having a time because it's probably like, hey, I know Bron, but I don't know Bron like that.
Hand on the bicep, bro.
I would like to know Bron like that, though.
Now, here we go.
Now, this is the look on Savannah's face right here is.
We got to be here. First of all, we're public facing. We're public facing. We're here to support our son. You're in a fucking doghouse. We're going to keep this from our daughter. I'm still going to be cordial with you, but you know. You know. We're not about to get divorced. We're not about to have no real public issues, but you know. Because you wanted to be the funny guy. And
notice he's not wearing any sunglasses on this one. Okay, the sunglasses are key.
I'm on LeBron's side. He ain't do nothing wrong.
Nothing wrong.
Black men don't cheat, first of all. Secondly,
what are you trying to say about white people, by the way?
No.
White people cheat. White people cheat.
No. But white people aren't.
I will not stand for this stereotype.
I don't see one white person in this photo besides the young lady back there with the SC gear on. She don't count. And the little white boy with the nice cut in the back, right?
Except for all the people in the back, you don't see any white people.
For the zoom in, LeBron didn't do anything wrong. He just found himself saying a joke one too many times and was caught in 4K. We've been there. Tom, have you ever been there? I've been there before where I'm there. You know, you
I know Courtside Trey. You've been there and the cameras are on you.
Here's the thing.
There's
no camera. There's no camera.
Curry.
I'm working the room. The ladies are laughing a little too hard. And my girlfriend at the particular time walks in and is watching. And my smile, all pearly, stops. No teeth are shown anymore because you know you fucked up. You're not as funny around your girl as the other people.
Right. Here's what I want to throw at you, Trey. Let's run that back, probably like the 15-second mark, okay? 15 seconds in. Watch the guys behind LeBron. And I want you to pay attention here.
The deuces behind him?
The deuces. The reason why this is interesting is because they recognize that LeBron's on camera. They see that there's a cameraman, who's videotaping LeBron right now. So I'm going to get myself on TV, which brings me to my next point. Did LeBron know that he was on camera here when he did this?
Yes.
Happy International Women's Day.
He's aware. Yes.
Look at that look right there, Maze. Yep. Perfect. We can't see his son. He's got shades on. Okay.
And in that moment, he knew he fucked up. That's it. Because again, it's one thing to be like, okay, clearly I know I'm being watched. I'm not doing anything wrong, but the game's going on. So why would they capture me?
Here's my question for this. Here's my question, and I think I know the answer, but he was sitting there by himself first, and then Jeannie and Linda came up, right? There's no way that Jeannie and Linda were sitting there. He came up and he said, "Let me go middle."
Yeah, that's a power sit right there.
They came and sat next to him. So in that case, I'm with you, LeBron. I feel you. You're in your Liverpool LeBron collection jersey. Mm-hmm. You're chilling courtside. You're doing your thing. But also the pander level, the Waz level pander. Happy International Women's Day, and then it's just feeding popcorn to an eager audience here. It's not that funny. It's not that charming to say Happy International Women's Day.
It's the setup, Maze. It's the first off. I know we were talking about Bronny, but first off, just want to Happy International Women's Day. It's the setup. It's not. It's him demonstrating to them and conveying to them, hey, there's more important matters here that we need to discuss, like International Women's Day. First of all, why do we need a win for half the race? I mean, half the humankind. This is crazy to think that we need an International Women's Day to celebrate half the people on this planet every day. We should be celebrating women.
And you know what Savannah said? Every day is International Wife Day, and you fucked up.
Right.
Couch. Or to the other wing of the house. I don't think he sleeps on the couch.
They got enough spare bedrooms, dog.
Yeah, go to the wing.
I'm just gonna go the west wing of this house. No,
crazy.
Couch.
You know the crazy thing about it. I could only imagine being in a doghouse of LeBron's.
Yeah, LeBron's doghouse is nicer.
LeBron's doghouse got to be crazy. Like, is it stripped away like a punishment where there's no TVs in there? There's no cell service. Yeah. Like, how does he spend that to not enjoy it?
Remember Draymond?
Spend the night in the hyperbaric chamber, LeBron.
Yeah.
Don't come out until you can.
Remember Draymond was like, when I got suspended, I just went to my basement. I didn't see my kids for 2 weeks. And I'm like, you lived in your basement for 2 weeks? What the hell, man?
Also, what's a rich person's basement like? Is he
sick?
Is he trying to dumb it down and like make it seem like we wanted to feel sorry?
He said he went to his man cave.
His man cave. That's the greatest escape.
I went to my 3-bedroom apartment in my basement.
Look, could you imagine
low key humble brag? Yeah,
imagine getting suspended by the NBA and your kids and your family have to be punished too.
Yeah.
What? You know what? During playing days, I saw my family less. I spent my sentence in the dungeon, aka the man cave.
That's why they say coaches can never get off the whole coaching grind, because they got to go spend time with their family. And they're like, yep, I'm good. I'll take a job. I'll take wherever I can go.
The old Tom Brady.
Yeah, there it is. So speaking of legends, statue might be outside of Foxborough one day, Tom Brady. Well, we do have a Kobe Bryant statue here that is now getting a lot of shade, not from a tree above, but from NBA Twitter, that discovered that there are typos on the statue etched into the marble. I did not know this, but there's a box score of his 81-point game on the statue with all the stats, all the players. And according to some people who have been there and snapped some photos and posted online, there's numerous typos on this box score, which, gotta say, I don't really blame them. A box score has way too much shit in it, man. That's crazy to ask to put a box score on. It's one thing to get a sculpture to look like Kobe Bryant. It's a whole nother thing to have to type out an entire box score.
That was laser scanned, by the way.
What's that?
That was laser scanned, by the way. Like the etch.
So whoever, there's no way this.
Somebody was like, because we do this shit right in advertising. It's like we hire. They're like, yo, Trey, you looked over everything? Yeah, I'm good. Tom, you looked over everything? Yeah, I'm good. Maze, you looked over everything? Everything good. They'll be like, I still don't trust these motherfuckers. Hire a proofreader, right? The motherfucker be like, yeah, I went through everything. I promise. All right, it's clear. So not only is it my fault, it's the proofreader's fault, everything to go through. So whoever was the fucking proofreader was like, breeze through that shit.
Sure.
Like, it's no way I can fuck this up. Yep, I got the box score right here.
Yep. 3 errors. There's Jose. By the way, shouts to Charlie Villanueva. Coming back.
Big Charlie Villanueva episode.
He was part of that history.
Mm-hmm. Jose Calderson, not Calderon, Jose Calderson on the box score. We also got Vom Wafer. I'm sure the person was like, his name can't be Von. Like, it's got to be Vom.
It's got to be Vom.
Got to be Vom. Vom Wafer makes a lot more sense than Von Wafer. So maybe they were like, maybe he thought he was Tom Wafer, but then like, the T is kind of close on to the V on the keyboard, and maybe it was Vom Wafer.
It was some iPhone autocorrect.
Yep. Vom Wafer. Also, the coach's decision is misspelled on Vom Wafer, I believe. Vom Wafer's coach's decision is spelled with a C instead of an S.
It's Spanish, bro. It's Decisión.
But then why can't you get Calderon right? You know?
Jose Calderson's Decisión. Yeah. I don't understand why this. Are they filling space? Why did they put the whole box score up?
Why? You know, like, you know when someone says like you're lying and I can tell because you're over talking.
Yeah.
Like
too many details.
Too many
statistics.
You're compensating for something. Just stop. Maybe put like his number, a big 8 and 24, and we're done. We don't need 1,000 numbers. There's going to be an error here. So
I get that you want to commemorate the 81-point game, but I think you could pretty easily condense it down to Kobe Bryant scored 81 points on this date against this team. Done. Why do we need how many minutes?
That was just flexing at that point. That
Charlie
was a flex.
Villanueva paid.
They just flexed. Like,
they
you know how you're like
tore their pectoral muscle.
You know, you're like you're in the last lap and you forgot to pit stop. You're like, I'm really trying to get this record, and the fucking wheel just comes off.
That's Grammatica celebrating and then tearing his ACL.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it's grammatically incorrect.
Grammatica. They would probably spell Grammatica incorrectly on the statue.
Yeah.
So what are they going to do? They're going to have to correct this, but I feel like correcting it is almost drawing more attention to it.
They're going to correct it during the summer. When the season's not in, you know what I mean, where they got actual time. Somebody gonna go out there and fix it for sure. They're not about to just allow that. Like, but at the end of the day, it is what it is.
Can you imagine Von Wafer's phone right now? Like, he's just enjoying a nice little weekend.
Well,
I don't know where he is in the world.
It probably feels good to be mentioned. If I'm Von Wafer, I'm selling some shirts. Maybe some Von Wafer shirts. Marketing, baby. You take advantage. You take advantage of the actual. Yeah.
Not Bomb Dutch anymore. Bomb Dutch hats. We're going to do some Von Wafer hats.
Bomb Dutch.
A Vom Dutch is crazy. I fuck with that though.
Yo. Okay.
Hey, okay. We're going to have a merch store, aren't we?
Yeah. No, that is going on the list. Vom Dutch.
Vom Dutch would be a great insider. We get the patch made and everything.
Oh man.
Great.
Okay.
Less details on statues, guys. Let the statue do the work. Let's not put these people through this.
We're trying to sell merch. Let's keep up the details on the statues, please.
As long as we
need more content.
Just mess it up.